Hey guys, welcome back to Project Bodybuilding, episode 32, here with an extra special guest, my friend from down under, Xavier Wills.
Hey man, what's happening?
Oh, I can't believe I got you on after decades of dodging my Instagram DMs. You finally come on the show.
Well, I wasn't dodging them. I was just really shit at getting back to everyone. You
Mm,
know, maybe beat
mm.
that as well because first minute of a podcast. But yeah, apologies
I
for that.
I hate people like you.
Yeah, thank you. I hate you too.
It's like I text and here I am waiting for a
WhatsApp
response.
me. WhatsApp me. I'm good on
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp.
I don't do WhatsApp, but yeah, I text you, and it's not just you. It's a lot of other young people, but I text, and usually I respond instantly, no
Did you
matter
call
what
me
it
young?
is. Yeah, you're under 35.
I am not. I am
Could have
35
fooled me.
exactly.
Could have fooled
Yeah.
me.
Oh, the
But
grey hairs won't.
when I text, it's like we invented this communication system so I can have a response pretty much not instantly, because that'd be more like even a phone call, not really. But I expect a timely response. I think I
No,
was.
I tell you what, my generation I think is the worst. So like not even my generation, like my particular age bracket. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. This is my theory. Because even like, me, James Hollingshead, like guys are right around our age, sometimes are really crap at writing back. And like James Hollingshead and I, we have almost like a mutual agreement. Like sometimes he'll text me and then I won't write back, but most of the time I do. And then sometimes I text him, and then sometimes most of the time we write back, but sometimes not. And then we're just like, sorry about that. And we're like, yeah, I get it. So it's like, but I think the reason is okay, we'll get into the Arnold Classic competitor list, but I think the reason is because I grew up with text messages from a young age, and it was like a
Mm.
singular form of like you have texts and you'd hang on these texts as well. Like you text this girl in like grade 8 or whatever, and it's like your girlfriend we have for 2 weeks or whatever, so you'd be like hanging on these texts, and texts were like so valuable. Now it feels like messages are just overall like you have random people messaging you everywhere, or you're messaging other people, and it's like I just want it all put down into one messaging app, and that's why I like WhatsApp. But then people contact me on Instagram, and I'm a dickhead and don't respond for many days, and then they fall so far down when I tag people that it's like you just miss it. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. So
I'm a
that's not a
bad person.
valid excuse. Yeah, that does
New
make you a
well,
bad person.
not a New Year's resolution, like a resolution from like maybe Wednesday next week, because I'm really busy for the next 5 days. But a resolution from then onwards,
Is to
I'm
be a
never gonna
better
keep to it.
person by texting
Be a
back
better
sooner.
person. Yeah, that's probably one of my worst qualities, to be honest. I
I
reckon.
can
Yeah,
think of
probably.
worse.
Mm, rough.
I'm joking. But
Okay,
yes, you did mention we have the Arnold Classic list to get into. So let's go ahead and pull that up. Um, I have to
pull it
say,
up.
I was excited last year. I was excited last year. We had Samson and Hottie as kind of, that top two bracket. And then at the time, we didn't know that this wouldn't happen, but there was Andrew Jack on the list, Nexilla, and then you had very good competitors all the way down through 12th. This year, you kind of still do have that star power of a top two, where you have two Mr. Olympias that are presumably going to be in that top two. And then you have Brandon, who could make somewhere in the top three. That's certainly possible. But I think going into this, the knee jerk reaction is Samson and Derek. But then after that, in the remaining 10 spots, it is really like filled up competitively.
I feel
I
like you're
would say
forgetting
even more
someone.
than last year. Am I
I feel
forgetting
like you're
someone?
forgetting a contender. Shinadu Obiaki, Andrew Jack.
Who?
Shinadu.
Yeah, didn't you predict him to win the Olympia?
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah. And you know who placed
I
him
said Samson
exactly where
second.
he fell? You know who placed him exactly? Oh, actually, I think maybe my final predictions may have been slightly different, but I think I had him in
Oh
fifth.
yeah, the double prediction guy.
Oh
I had him
yeah.
winning. I had him winning. One
I
of the
had him
one of
winning
the
three
10 weeks
weeks
leading
out.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Let's actually start not even with open, but with classic, because last
yeah.
year last year was just better, quite frankly. So you had Wesley, Ramon, Breon. And this year, I think now that C-Bum is gone, you have a lot of people that are like are all in on the Olympia. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yeah,
yeah.
so you have that. You have guys like Daboul, Zaninelli, Greggo's an up and comer. Jaworski is he competes a ton. Logan Franklin's in
Mm.
here. We'll talk about him, but the main two are Wesley and Mike, which I think I'm excited to see. A lot of people see these two guys, even though Wesley didn't do that well at the Olympia, as kind of heirs to the throne now, especially Mike because he plays second. But yeah, overall, a slightly thinner lineup. Um, but I think we still have a very good matchup at the top.
I
So,
wonder how many guys actually like put in an application for this because I wonder how much they like just try to diversify the countries, because you got Michael Daboul from the UK, you got Mike Sommerfeld from Germany, you've got Wesley Vissers from the Netherlands, Logan Franklin from the US. Like, there's not many guys from the US in this lineup really, apart from Matt Greggo, Logan
mhm.
Franklin, and then you've got Zaninelli from Brazil, Bang. I'm not sure who he is, but think I've seen him before, and he looks awesome. Um, but his last name, what's his first name? Jamoon Bang. Oh yeah, I think I know that dude.
On a
Is it
personal
Jamoon?
level,
No.
oh,
But I've seen a name that when you just see names on Instagram, you don't
yeah.
even really say them, you just see the name. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think I know him by whatever name I just sort of see him as or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not the strongest lineup, but the top two to maybe top three is going to be pretty jacked. And Matt Greggo, he's Derek Lunsford's training partner as well, and he's definitely doing things in classic. And I know he's very, very much on the limit as far as I've heard.
actually, can you give me a soft top five? Like, I'm very interested to just because I'm not going to look at all these guys, but what would
Mm.
be your soft top five, just knee-jerk reaction looking at the list? In no particular order.
Oh, well, obviously Wesley Vissers and Mike Sommerfeld, they're like,
Right.
shoe-ins. Michael Daboul, I'd put him there as well. And then that's when it starts to get more difficult. And I think there's like an opportunity for some of these guys as well. I feel really bad that I don't know. Uh, is it Alanis? I don't know who
Yeah.
that is.
Is that a men's physique pose though? Is he coming up for men's physique?
Oh, he looks pretty. Yeah, I mean, probably in his posing routine or something.
Hmm.
Logan Franklin. It's like, does Logan Franklin go in there as well? Like,
Um,
because he's a guy that's always like, it's like you look at him in his pre-stage photos, but I think he's just maybe sometimes just hasn't been quite big enough. Like, I think he's still got room to move. And now the
right.
weight cap's up. Has he put on that mass that he needs?
So I'll give you my soft top five. I think
Wait, I'm going to
Wesley.
say Zancanelli as well. So I've got
Okay,
four in there
yeah,
so
I
far.
was gonna say that. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Wesley, Mike, Michael DeBull, Zaninelli. I kind of just like to go on paper, but I think, yeah, my hunch was Matt Greggo, and since he placed higher at the Olympia, I'm gonna go with him. So that is
Yeah.
my working top five.
I've got Greggo too. I've got the same. Yeah.
So Logan, like you said, he just hasn't been quite big enough. He's the first top pro to ever leave me hate on one of my videos.
Really?
So we have beef. We have beef
Oh
going
well,
back to
well,
a
fuck
long.
Logan, man. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
We
joking. I
have
like
major
Logan.
beef going back to prehistoric times. But I would agree, it's just he hasn't quite well, he just hasn't improved the way he's needed to for the longest time. And it's been a stretch getting to the Olympia. He's had to do the Shaun Classic, which is, I mean, with respect to the Shaun Classic, it's, kind of a bare bones show. He's usually one of the only big names that does it. It's kind of like a guaranteed qualification for him because when he steps into something like the Texas Pro, he doesn't do as well. I think he got third at the last one. So, what does Logan
Yeah,
need to do to be top five?
I got to say he was pretty good at that show. It was a really good top three. I remember doing the live stream that I do on my channel sometimes, and I was talking about Logan. I'm like, oh, it's a tight top three, but yeah, he's not going to beat because the winner of that show was is it Hun Jae Ho?
Jaehan Park.
Jae Hun? Yes, that's just, Oh my God, that
And
was
then
so bad.
and then
Oh
yeah,
man.
that was aneurysm level. And then you had Tim's in
You can clip it though if you want, because that was funny.
you had Tim's in second, and
Yeah.
and then Logan. I remember when he first kind of like made the switch and came onto the scene, he was like, "I'm gonna beat Chris," things like that. And maybe he never really believed that. Maybe that was all for the attention, for the views, which I respect the hustle, but he never, I think, his best place in his top 10.
I think it's
So
about 10th, isn't it? In the Olympia.
he placed 13th this year, and I think his highest year was 2020. He was ninth.
When you said this year, do you mean was that this year's Olympia?
This year he was 13th. The highest he's ever placed was ninth.
Okay, yep, yep, yep.
He has been at the Arnold before. I think that was back in
He got the best
2021.
poser, didn't he?
Yeah, he is a good poser. He
Yeah.
placed third at the Arnold, next to Alex Cambronero and Rough Diesel, if I remember correctly. It was, yeah, yeah. Terrence won that show, and he
You're
looked
quick at
good
pulling these
there.
up, man. You've got this NPC News Online
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I do. Unfortunately, you know what I hate? Muscle Discord isn't renewing their not Muscle Discord. Muscular Development isn't renewing their website, so you can't necessarily get into it. It's like an unsecured network, and I was like, well, am I gonna get hacked? Probably not, but like, I don't really want to
Oh
take that
yeah.
risk.
I don't want to take that risk either.
Yeah, because it is a
Uh,
popular website. I'm sure they had a lot of traffic at one time, but they had all the pictures on there. Sometimes I like them more than the NPC News Online
oh
website.
no, so they're gone.
Yeah, unless you saved them, which I'm sure someone out there like Jake from Jake Ultimate Fitness, he saves a lot of things. So maybe they're somewhere on some kind of database. I don't know. A lot of the times you can find them on different websites, but yeah, for easy convenience, it's a heavy blow. It's a heavy blow.
Hmm. I just had someone message me and said, "Do you know Callum Von Moga is in Tasmania right now?"
You guys gonna kiss?
Probably not. No, I know. I reckon that's super unlikely. Like, I don't know.
I love
Very
Callum.
unlikely.
He's the only influencer I've ever watched besides Chris Seabum.
See, bam.
But
I'll look to see his story while we talk.
Logan, I just wanted to ask you so I could hate on him. You don't have to hate if you don't want to. But
I'll refrain from hating.
yeah, it's just more size, he's pretty complete. He has a good back, great quads. It's like,
Looks like Wolverine there.
yeah, he has the great hair, but it's like it just needs more. Like Classic as a division has like developed so much, not necessarily
Oh
on
my God, there's a Wolverine
scale.
thing on the screen. Sorry, I apologize. I didn't even see that.
Not really,
Oh,
it hasn't improved on size, but it has improved on like the quality. And I don't know, Logan just he just doesn't have the wow factor anymore.
I
He
don't know,
kind of
man. He looks pretty good
does.
there, I think. Like he looks good there.
Is he gonna win the show?
No,
At one point, I would have liked to see
I
him win
really
it.
like his physique, man.
I think we all do. Because it has
Mm,
what is he, the Texas O, because he looks like Arnold. He can get into good condition as well. I think he may have coached for this one because he's not working with Milos anymore. Um, for this Olympia, I mean. But yeah, it's just like he needs. There are just little things that just need more umph.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, that's
Still
unfortunate.
very
But
impressive. Still very, very impressive. But I mean, by that last update where he was, that was 7 weeks ago or whatever he posted, I was pretty impressed with that. Because
this
that was
one,
pre-Olympia, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't think this was pre-Olympia.
Post-Olympia was, is it? When
Yeah, if
was
he
the
po
Olympia? 7 weeks ago, wasn't it?
yeah, and since he posted this a day ago, so I would imagine he
Oh, a
kind of did
day
this.
ago.
Yeah, he
I
would
thought it
do
said
this
7 weeks.
in conjunction with the Arnold list dropping. So
Okay, no, he looks great.
mid. All right.
It's
Next is
rough.
next is Matthew Greggo, which I mean, He
Can
has
you tag
everything.
Matthew Greggo in this? Because I feel like I talk about Matthew Greggo and he maybe wouldn't always see it. I like him.
Yeah, I did too. He's been able to grow a lot. And it's all very good quality. Like he's gotten in good, better condition now. He's been able to grow a lot. He's having a little trouble with the back development, but like he has everything else. He's very tall. He has good size. He's one of these guys that could probably make a half decent switch to open if it ever gets to that point. If
I think he will make a very good switch at some point because he's on the
yeah,
limit now.
right. It's the same with
He
the
looks like
no.
he looks like an aesthetic bodybuilder to me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's I'd say he's not the most aesthetic in the classic because it's not even because he's not aesthetic because he is aesthetic, but he's just doesn't have that traditional classic shape. He's got a
Hmm.
great bodybuilding shape though, you know?
I would agree. I would agree, but he's gonna have to bring the back up. Yeah, he has a lot, but it's still, the guys in front of him,
Yeah.
Breon, Ramon, not that they're necessarily will be at this show, but like Wesley has a better back. Daboul definitely does. Mike Sommerfeld definitely does. But with like from the front and from the side, I think he will be able to manage top five. And I don't want to say easily. I don't
Dude,
want to
he
jinx him.
gained 22 pounds in a year. 22 pounds he had on there.
I can
The
gain 22
difference.
pounds in a week.
Yeah, but you're not going to look good.
What are you trying to say?
Um, I don't know. You just don't look good when you gain 22 pounds in a week, no matter who you are. I don't, unless you're like Jay Cutler or something. Then you probably look like watery anyway.
Damn.
But yeah, Matt Gregor, man,
Damn.
he's good. He's got a lot of muscle. Like, look at that. That is supreme. Like, that is really, really good. The only knock I've really got is like maybe on that like crab most muscular, like maybe lacks a little bit of those, like see how like the front delts like really popping. And it's just not as much detail through the delts and like through that arm on from that angle, perhaps, like as some of those other classic guys. But he is so big and he is still really hard, you know.
Hmm.
But he won't maybe have like the you look at Wesley Vissers, his shoulders are like diced. You know what I mean? You look at like a back double bicep of Wesley Vissers,
Yeah,
the shoulders are diced.
yeah, you could
Matt,
tell he's not using he doesn't shoot up the delts too much or does it very carefully. There are very few pros nowadays that have that natural look of delts specifically. And Wesley's are
oh
like
yeah,
picture perfect.
and it's so hard too because like a lot of like natural guys will say, you know, like oh, well, why doesn't he have this? Because he's using too much. I mean, you can use a small amount. Like you see guys use small amounts, but they just hit their delts, you know, every other time.
Yeah, that's me.
And you know they'll just start to lose that like those lines. You know what I mean? Like you just
Right.
and it's tough. Like you got to put it somewhere. But some guys, I guess, if you're better at doing that, then you get like an advantage, I guess.
Okay. Then we have I think that leaves Gabriel Zancanelli. I love this guy. I really
Yeah,
do. I like this guy. Um I don't necessarily he's
I reckon he'll
probably
be fifth.
topped out.
Yeah, he'll
Can
be
he
fifth
grow
at this
much
show for
more?
sure. I think he can maybe. I don't know. It's I feel like there's more refinement to be done on his physique, and when he becomes more like crisp and refined with more time, like he does, like when he does hit his shots when you're watching him in posing videos, he is very very lean. Like he is shredded.
Hmm.
But it's just standing next to C-Bub's really difficult. But he looks good there, you know?
Yeah, just Sebum has that extra level of maturity, even though he's like really
Yeah.
young
That side
comparatively.
leg, the glute, the hip, like, but even though you see when he locks it out, the glute's there. It's just C-Bum. You can just see there's more of it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's just, yeah. But look at the
Um,
hamstring. He's shredded.
well, Gabriel is the Brazilian Sebum. I think
Yeah.
there really isn't a more. I mean, Ramon obviously places higher, but in terms of structure and that overall height, they're basically the same height. They both have those wide rib cages. Obviously there are some other major differences, but I Sebum speaks to me in a way only a lover could, and perhaps we are,
Ah.
but I get a little bit of that from Zancanelli as well.
Ah.
Yeah,
So he could probably leave you like a voice note before you go to bed and like
he could seduce
you
me.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Not
Have,
weird.
have you ever talked to
Cool.
this guy?
Nah. Does he speak English? or
that's
just
kind of
Espanol.
they don't
I
speak
mean, no,
Span.
no Portuguese. I mean, sorry.
Wow, that one's getting clipped too.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like the other countries, like in South America, like Venezuela, that speak Spanish and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you were thinking. I'm trying
Which
to find
actually was.
from the tech from the Texas Pro. This is from the Tampa. I can't remember which one of those he won. I don't think no,
It doesn't matter
Justin.
to you. He's a winner in your eyes, no matter what, right?
Right. But I think Justin Batterina won the Tampa, and I think
Justin Butarina. Yeah, I like
okay.
him.
Okay.
I'm
And
sorry, I'll
then
calm down now.
Gabriel won the Texas Pro, if I'm not mistaken. Texas Pro was a good
Yeah.
show. You had Laszlo and guys in there. Um
Laszlo's one that always looks phenomenal, but it's just apparently he's just lacking a little bit in person in terms of that size.
and Brazilians, I'm gonna make a blanket statement. They stay winning as the guys who can't pose at all. They're the most of the guys that can't, they have the worst posing. Like
Ramon, who else is Brazilian now?
I'm
So many
thinking
Brazilian guys.
Horse MD.
Vitor Both, Horse MD. Yeah, and traditionally not good poses. Eduardo Correa was decent, but still not the best.
I told Marks Bax Muscle about this, and I think he said it on a podcast. He's like, "Oh, they get worked up, they get emotional." It's like they're very suave, very very smooth. But I was about to say he can improve his back, but then like I look at this pose and I wait for him to like fully lock into it and like really throw those thumbs back.
Yeah, just a little bit more,
Yeah,
tiny bit.
exactly. That would thicken up the mid and lower back so much. It would really make the lats and upper back pop. Like it would make it a completely different pose, and it's like a matter of maybe 3 or 4 inches that he just needs to lock back. And you just look and you can't help but cringe. So I hope Gabriel watches this. Um,
It's not
and
that bad,
it's
but I know what you mean.
horrible.
You just get that little bit more if you just
Yeah, and usually if it's like this, they're probably trying their best because there's probably some tightness in the delts, things like
yeah.
that. So, but I recommend my recommendation from the judges panel is to fix this right here. So,
It's not bad. That's he's pretty close. I had one client that was obviously, well, he's an amateur, but he was smaller than this guy for sure, but still quite well muscled. And he just like he had so much tissue work, and he eventually had to. He maybe got it to that stage. You know what I mean? Like where he
damn.
got into that pose, but it was so frustrating to me. I'm like, can you just pull back? And I'd like try to pull his arms back. I'm like, you are. But he was traditionally an ectomorph. Like he was very, very skinny.
So he's
Ironically, we went
muscle
to the same.
bound.
Yeah, he's too muscle bound. His traps are just. Yeah, I think if he got work, like a lot of tissue work while he was getting bigger, it's like I feel like he'd have the mobility fine. But because you put all the muscle on, you're not stretching, it's not opening up. And maybe he has that issue. But it is funny that Brazilians traditionally like I thought Brazilians can dance in general, like the guys and the girls. And normally people that can dance and have rhythm, they normally can pose well. So like where like is there no good posing coaches in Brazil or what?
And there's also, I don't know, maybe it's dancing is maybe a little more fluid and posing to be good at mandatory is not necessarily doesn't really require being
Yeah,
fluid.
it's like the Kai Green thing, right?
In regards to like how he's able to be fluid, but at a given instance, like lock in insanely. Like, if you ever like look at the 2016, I'm
No.
sure we've all, like he's so smooth, but then he can tense everything at a
Yeah.
moment's notice.
Yeah, because
Tenses me
that's
up.
like Samson as well. Like Samson would be like, like you know what I mean, like with his tricep. How he I can't really get the angle because I'm not good enough a microphone over. Like how he would just have that like arm when he like has it like pushes it out and then he just locks his tricep. It's like having that control, like where you can move.
Mhm.
Like if you can like got that and then bang like that. Because I used to teach posing and guys would like I'm like, okay, and then I might go like this slowly and hand in and then bang, lock. And they would just go like, ugh. And I'm like, not like this. Like, like you got to
Yeah.
control that shit and like make it look like bang. And just, yeah, it's Kai would do that. But that's not what I meant. I meant how Kai does the mandatories and he would do things, and people were like, oh, I just wish he just did this a little bit different, like at
Yes,
stages in his
I
career.
hated that.
Posing routines were like crazy, like
Hmm.
crazy. Well, they were controversial, I guess, somewhat, but most people, especially his like last contest, like the Arnold and stuff he did,
Hmm.
great posing routines. So, um, yeah, the fact that he's like that, but then sometimes messed up the mandatories was like,
Yeah,
what?
overposing is a thing as well, and that's what he
Yeah.
was definitely guilty of at times. But after Zaninelli, I think we just kind of have that guy that is like the buffer for everyone else in top three, which is just Michael Daboul. Like he doesn't have the best shape, sure, but it's like no one else, not many other people get into this kind of condition and are this complete.
Mm,
Um, so I think I have him top three, and I think I'm pretty firm on that. I think he kind of stays around there, to be honest.
mm. He needs to, I suppose, the main thing for Michael de Bull, he's gotten better because the weight cap has gone up, but so has
Right.
everyone else as well. It, I think it helps Michael de Bull a lot because the one issue I have with Michael de Bull's physique is that he's got a great structure. Like you look at him and you go, like, he's got everything that you'd want in a physique, like the delts, the small waist, and everything. But there's a couple of things. I think it's just I'd want it. There's like a bug in my face. I'd want to see his chest a bit thicker.
Yeah.
And also his abs aren't super developed. Like I wish there's a little bit more muscle in there, like which sounds weird. But I think that combination of those two things, plus, I mean, his back's getting pretty thick. Maybe not the biggest hamstring, so maybe like a little bit more hamstring, bit more chest, and maybe slightly thicker abs, just a little bit.
What are
And I
all
think
these
you,
demands? What are all
I
these
know,
demands?
but it's just, but I mean, if he had those three things, a little bit more hammy, thicker
Oh,
chest, even just those two things, that's enough. And he would jump so much, like
I'll agree
so
with the
much.
thicker chest. I'll agree with the thicker chest. I think it's because he has wider shoulders, so it's kind of hard to thicken up the clavicle
Mm,
region. I notice if you're wider, because Arnold had those slope shoulders and very broad pecs, and his pecs are honestly working on their own genetic timeline. But I think guys that usually have the T that are perfectly straight across the shoulders, like myself, have problems building up the upper pecs. Um, I think that's just kind of structure. It's like they can delts usually come pretty easy. Upper chest usually doesn't. And this maybe happens like 60% of the time, but there's usually a trend with this. I don't know if you've noticed it. Maybe you're just not privy to these things like I am, but it's science. It's science. It's my bro science. But I don't think Michael
no,
needs
no,
to
I
bring up
agree.
his hamstrings. I don't think he needs to bring up his back. His abs are okay. Um, I think I think he kind of
But
stays.
his chest when he walks out there, it doesn't look that bad. But it's like he widens his shoulders, and then see, look, from when he walked out, it looked pretty thick, and then look there, just doesn't. It's like he just widens his chest, and you. That's what I would do too. I'm not hating on it, but like it's like how he just opens it. And yeah, see how just that he looks a little bit in just in that torso area, just a little bit 2D. Just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Come on, tell him you said that.
No, I love his physique, honestly. Like
I
he's
do too, actually, a lot.
yeah, he's very, very good. It's just that like I think with Michael de Bull, it's hard for him to improve. But the fact that the weight cap is up, I think that's why he's gotten better. So if he can make those little improvements, like he's phenomenal. Like he is one of the top dudes in classic, but he's just that one bit behind like the top 5, 6 guys. You know what I mean? Like he's just the next guy.
His season this year
And I can
actually
crack it.
hasn't been firing on all cylinders. Like he's kind of slipped just marginally in all these shows that, like he didn't do as well as he could have at the Arnolds. He did worse at the Olympia this year. Um, and I do think overall the packages he did bring were better in 2023. What do you make of that? Is it because the weight cap, the curse of the weight
I
cap?
I think it's the I
He
think he's
competes a
gotten
lot.
better. I just think it's everyone else has gotten better as well. I'd say he didn't make as big of a step. He had a tumultuous year, I guess, like We know what happened in the UK that show.
Right.
Um, so that was probably stressful, but I mean, he still looked phenomenal. But maybe just yeah, maybe just not a few areas of his physique maybe weren't quite as either as crisp or as filled out or something in a few shows. Um, because yeah, I don't think he made significant improvements compared to the year prior. Because I think 2022 to 23,
Hmm.
huge improvements, huge.
Right.
Um, but yeah, just that side leg, I'd like to see it cut out a little bit more between the hammies and glutes, but I think that just requires more muscle because from the back you see it's like look how cut out he is, man.
I know that was almost
That's
three
23,
years
wasn't it?
ago. No, this was
Oh, that's
2022.
22. That was a good
Yeah.
package. Very good.
Did
So he
he?
look he looks pretty. Look me. He I think he looks better. I don't know. What do
I
you
think he
think?
won this. I think he won this, and I think Wesley placed second or something like that.
Damn, that was a good package, man. Yeah, so I
Yeah, he did
do
win.
actually. But then you look at that photo, you're like, oh no, he's still great. Yeah, that was a
Well,
great package, man.
better
Yeah,
lighting, better color.
yeah.
I think he
It's so
definitely
hard
was
to
drier
judge.
though. And Michael,
Yeah.
like, he goes really in depth on the peaking process on his Instagram, and he's like, "Here's what we did. Here's what we're going to fix." I know recently he dropped like I think his Olympia peak, and he's like, "I'm not really," and he gives a lot of advice. One of my favorite athletes, but he's got to teeter this line of bringing that great condition, but I'm sure he wants to fill out even more. But a lot of these times the weigh-ins are like a day before the show. I think he'd be one of these guys greatly benefited by it a weigh-in potentially being on like a Wednesday, the show
Oh,
being
for
on
sure. Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is he filling out the weight cap now though?
for
Because now the
sure.
weight cap's gone up.
For sure.
But there the weight cap wasn't increased, and to me he looked just as big there as he does here.
Um, I mean, he looked also bigger here at the Legion this year than the Olympia.
He did, yeah. Yeah, I think the
So
Olympia maybe he was just very slightly flat, or maybe slightly over diet. It's hard to say, man.
it is. It is. Okay.
But yeah, he's really good. There's just varying degrees of how good.
I just think his shape will prevent him from winning just about, the major things because I think even if someone manages to bring similar levels of size and conditioning, it is classic, so the shape will be the deciding factor, but like he's always going to be in the orbit because it is like an open level package. So where do you place that? I think always pretty high, but maybe not always first.
Is his shape bad though? Like you said, his
No,
shape. I think his shape's good. It's just is it the structure or
it's okay. He's not Wesley. He's not even Gabriel in terms of structure and shape.
some people could argue that he's got good as shape as Wesley though, because Wesley has like sort of quads that aren't shaped as nicely as
Because
Michael
Wesley's
DeBull's.
bad.
No, I love Wesley.
Let's get into that actually. Where did you predict him for the Olympia?
Dude, I can't remember. I would have got it wrong though. No, I predicted him, I think like third or fourth. I can't
I think
remember.
I predicted him third as well. So I remember a lot casual fans usually are like, he's gonna beat Chris Bumstead this year. And I said, there's no shot. There's absolutely no shot. And and I mean that. There wasn't even a chance. And I said that right after
But
the
he
Arnold.
wasn't as good here. He wasn't as good here as he was at the Arnold. I think he over prepped, over dieted here. But I know what you mean. I think it was unrealistic that he'd beat C-Bum, but it's fun to discuss anyway for a hot minute.
I would actually say he was slightly I forget because I compared the two Arnold and Olympia versions. He was better from the front or back, but worse in one of those at the Olympia. So really it wasn't like he was kind of a little worse everywhere, but it really wasn't a like massive downgrade. I don't know. I think
Mm.
I
But
have
I think
this
the conditioning
theory.
is not as good there because it's hard to judge like the different lighting between shows. But I just don't think like the delt lines weren't as deep. Like I don't know what it was. Like maybe he upped the gear a bit and it just didn't look as good or as fresh on his physique. I don't know. Like I'm just completely speculating, but I
Well,
just
to be
don't think it was
fair,
quite as deep.
I had I had Ramon winning the Arnold Classic.
Oh, you're horrible.
He only, and the thing is, he only lost by 1 point. Ramon
Did
did.
he? I
Yes.
can't even remember that. Yeah.
I remember everyone was like, man, Wesley just beat number 2 in the world. And it was, I was like, well, it was barely. And I don't even necessarily agree with it because I think the back is what got me hung up. And then also, I vastly prefer Ramon's shape. He has the size. I don't necessarily think he has the best shape. I know some people really like it. Some people think it's boxy. I'm usually the latter. What do you think?
The legs from a back is what hurts the most, which is unusual because you'd say, is that such an issue for the shape? But even the way he poses it, it's like he's got his foot in too far and it's too close at the back, and then it goes out
Yeah,
like that. And he's trying to make
this
this
bow.
diamond
Yeah.
shape, but it needs to be more like down like that and then more like that. You know what I mean? Like how a normal dude would do it. Like, yeah,
Oh,
still shape it with the knees pushed out, but and then he wasn't flexing his glutes properly, and they looked a little bit underdeveloped of his show. Like he's flexing him there, but from the back there was no lines. Like you can't stand next to C-Bum with his glutes, and then you've got that with the awkward stance. Like you just can't. It just doesn't compare at all. But I love his like side chest. He's like
yeah.
supreme. Like I love the look of it. His twisting box shot, love it so much. But yeah, I know what you mean.
So what do you do? You're a former, maybe I don't know if you still do posing, but we'll say former posing coach. What do you tell Wesley to do with his legs since you know better?
Since I know better, change the shape of him from the back, like the way he hits them.
I don't even know. I think he does that to compensate because his quad sweep isn't the best, but it's like it's not worth it. Whatever you're trying to compensate for is just replaced by looking awkward in and of itself with the actual posing.
The main one is the leg trailing because he's got it so far in, and I know what he's trying to do. I completely get it because I've done that in a show as well. But like my first show, I did the opposite. I just had my legs out, like a giraffe, and I've got had especially then skinny legs, and you got to have a bit of a bow to your knee or whatever. But you can create a shape and twist it in a way where it looks comfortable. That's the main thing. Oh, make it look comfortable. You know,
Yeah, it hurts me to
and
look
flex your
at.
glutes.
Fix
Flex your
your
glutes.
glutes. Yeah.
Mm.
So, do you where did he place this year? Eighth at the Olympia, I mean.
I don't know.
Yes, eighth.
He was lower than most people expected.
Right, worse than last year. So he was eighth.
Wow.
Um, so far away from Mike, who we'll get to next. Do you think Wesley still has a shot here? I will try to find that Arnold version because I do think the Arnold version is an interesting hypothesis. Does
Mm.
let's see here. Yeah, okay. Does this pose a challenge, a real challenge, not a big disparity from eighth to second, to Mike?
Yeah. See, it's different. It's rounder, it's fuller, it's more poppy. I just wonder if he over dieted for the Olympia, maybe, or tried to come in bigger, one or the other. Like the quads look better. I reckon he
Yeah.
over dieted.
Yeah, because he
See,
was
that's
looking.
so much better, man. Even his waist looks smaller.
Yeah, because the quad sweeps are bigger, and maybe, he was like he did this guest posing a few weeks out, like here. And I was like, man, he's actually looking really good. I think I do. And I did end up keeping him in the top three, my predictions. And this was 3 weeks out. So he made like a huge downgrade in such a short time. Maybe he, like you said, over dieted for some reason. Maybe he thought he should be a bit leaner. I think he would have been benefited bringing in a bigger package. What do you think?
I agree. Just a little bit. It's just maybe just not going so far.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, the legs look way better there. He's posing him better even. Oh, no, then the knee goes out. You lost me.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't. Now, for the record, I don't think right now, I'm not even predicting Mike to win the Olympia this year, 2025. But I think it'll be fairly easy for, I don't know though. There's always a
Who are
theory
you
that
predicting for the Olympia?
Ramon.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, You're just trying to appease the Brazilian. You're
I
just trying
am
to get a
not.
Brazilian girlfriend.
Mike. Ramon Dino legitimately has one of my favorite physiques. Open, classic, pretty much ever. Like I put it in my top 10 favorite physiques. Like, period. You just don't see the vision
Yeah.
like I do.
No, no. I do love his physique. I feel like that's what I want to look like walking around as well. But dude, I have a weird feeling Terrence Ruffin's going to come in and shock the whole lineup. T Ruff, Rough Diesel.
Okay, respectfully, dude is plagued with injuries. Dude hasn't been training. It's like I don't necessarily think he's in the
He
right
has been training.
headspace.
He has. He's 212 pounds. Have you seen him?
I can get to 212 pounds without training as well.
He's been training, hasn't he?
Not, and he also just had to take some more time off because he's doing stem cells.
Oh, did
He
he?
says in this video that he
Oh my
said,
god, I've not been following his career enough.
I've been I've been off for 4 days and I still have 10 more days to go. So a 2 week period, I would assume, of because he's getting stem cells in his shoulder or maybe his elbow because he's had troubles with that before. But it's just a late around 212 for the first time. Yeah, and this was 4 weeks ago.
It doesn't even look like him there with those clothes on. Yeah, there. I thought he looked thick. See, first time he's got that heavy. I mean, he's not in shape, but he looks like Metal Man there.
He has beat a lot of guys before. He's won two Arnold Classics, one where he beat Breon,
Yeah.
Ramon. But
The only things he needed was muscle, more muscle.
okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I hate to bring this up, but he is like really short.
Yeah, I know. But he's
Yeah,
been second at VO before to see bum.
it should have been Breon in 2020, and then
I
in
I will agree.
2021, in 2021, I think that was okay. I think I'm okay with it.
He looks like Shaun Ray that side tricep.
Yeah, like he has. And I'm going to say something. I say this, I think, pretty often. Obviously, there's a big size difference, but in terms of hams and glutes, he's the closest I've ever seen to Ronnie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they go down a long way. Yeah, but
Right.
he's like a skinnier leg version. You know what I mean? That's when I say skinnier
Obviously.
leg
Yeah,
version,
but
that's a slap in the face. But you know what
okay.
I mean, Ronnie.
Um, yeah, he has it's the way the glutes tie in so low to the hamstrings, and the
Yeah.
hamstrings
Oh
are
yeah.
still
There's a
present
back
all the
double.
way down.
I might be a video. We went past it. I think. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there. Yeah, yeah.
it's a video, but yeah, it's like obviously this is Ronnie outweighed him by 100 plus pounds depending on the show, but like the glute and ham insertions,
They
they
just creep like a quarter of a way down the hamstring. Hey,
right, right.
I
You
wonder
just
what
kind
that
of want to
feels like to
sink
have
your
them
teeth
insert so
into
low.
it.
I don't want to.
Okay,
Yeah.
but back
You
to
can. Oh,
back to back to Mr. Mike Sommerfeld. He's I remember pointing this guy out when he plays to ninth at the Olympia. I think that was like 2021. And I saw this comparison. I won't be able to find it now, but it was like a lat spread of Chris versus Mike, and I was like, damn, I kind of prefer Mike just a little bit. It's some, because his V taper is insane. Even though Chris is objectively better, I was like, I do kind of really like Mike. Um, but I was like, what? I think this guy can do it. He can go very far. And then sure enough, everyone is predicting him to be the next classic physique Mr. Olympia. So, but first he's going to do the Arnold. Maybe he's doing that to help his stock.
good
Um,
move or bad move in your eyes?
Good move.
Even though and Ramon and everything is going to have a whole year to prep for the Olympia.
Made the right move because he needs size. Mike doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need too much more improvement. Like the only thing I want to see better are the hamstrings adductors, the posterior, not even the
Mhm.
back, so I can't even say posterior chain, but the lower body from the rear needs a little bit, thickening up, but
Oh,
that's
but look at the
one body
glutes.
part.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Other than that, like if he would ever go to 212, he would be a monster there as well. Like, he's that shorter type of stature, so he can go to 212 and look good. But he doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anything besides the hamstrings and adductors, and it's one body part. So I think this is the right move.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, he's got plenty of muscle. I think as long as he doesn't burn out, he's good. Yeah, yeah, he's really good, isn't he? The
He's
more I
not going to
watch
win
him,
the
the more I'm
Olympia
like,
anyway because Ramon Dino's going to win.
yeah, I don't know who I'm going to predict. Now I'm looking at Mike Sommerfeld. I might, yeah, I don't know. It's so
Does
tough.
Ramon?
Anyway, we're talking about the Arnold.
Oh, Ramon doesn't
Sorry.
have to qualify. He won that show at the end of the year. I forgot. Um. So yeah. Anyway, I think Mike has this pretty easily. I think it is mainly because of the back. Like him and Wesley both have the same main weakness in like skinnier legs from the rear, but Mike's back is three times as good as Wesley's. Changed my mind.
I'd say Mike's lower body from the back, to be honest, like looks pretty damn good.
It's still
Like
better than Wesley's.
way better. Like I've got to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the back shots go to Mike, surely, right? Like Wesley's upper body, I think, wins in the back shots marginally,
I don't.
but Mike's lower body, you don't think so? Not with the
No.
stripy
Wesley's
shoulders?
Wesley okay. It's the rear double bicep pose for the back, right? It's Wesley's back is pretty thin. Um, you
I don't want to
know,
see no Olympia version Wesley. I want to
okay,
see
well
about Arnold.
that's what you're gonna get.
Okay.
The Arnold's not on
Oh,
NBC
I
News
don't.
Online anymore.
I know.
Okay, yeah, we don't even have to look at the okay,
Don't
just
even
upper
show me.
body. M Mike Sommerfeld's beating
This
this.
this version this version, I'm pointing my computer screen like people can see me. This version of Wesley, he's got a little lump in his back. I wonder if what that is. Do you reckon that is actually a knot, or is that's a shot, isn't it?
Oh, that's the synthol I sabotaged him with.
It's not simple. I love how everyone online will see like a swollen body part and they say it's simple. It's like, no, it's just a shot, probably, unless it
Hmm
is simple.
I don't know where you've seen this lump. Where is it?
On his lower right trap.
Oh, yeah.
So the
Um,
first thing I noticed.
well,
But
I don't think anyone's injecting traps under any circumstances. Maybe lats,
no,
but
but
never
no, people do. People do.
really. Can
Yeah.
anybody reach?
I don't know
Especially
about
when you
there.
get this big.
I don't think anyone's reaching that spot. I don't, it's probably just a knot or something. I don't know. I'm
So
just
what
acting
would you
crazy.
inject? The upper traps?
I wouldn't touch my traps, no, but I've heard of people doing it.
I've heard of people doing it. Yeah, some
I
dude on
have.
the internet. I've heard. Yeah. Did you see it?
No. A lot of people do rear delts, lats.
Yeah,
I know of someone who did their forearms. They couldn't train for a week, but they did it.
that's that's ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm,
Okay,
it is.
so Mike's Mike's winning from the back. Even if you prefer Wesley's shape, he objectively wins from the front. Wesley's best
Honestly,
shot.
those two versions, like I mean, it's eighth from the Olympia versus second. So yeah, this version of Mike versus this version of Wesley, yeah, it's no
I'm thinking
contest.
Arnold as well. I'm thinking Arnold. Like Wesley's best shot, probably the side chest. You get people that are split on the front double, but side chest objectively is really good. Mike can keep
Yeah,
it close there. The front double, you're gonna have half of people that prefer anyone else over Wesley automatically. And then the rear double, it's no contest. And then the abs and thighs, Mike wins easily. Favorite classic pose, that's not a pose. It doesn't even matter.
it does. It does.
It doesn't. It
Yeah, no,
doesn't.
but people don't count much. Um,
And they're both good
yeah,
posers, so
you make solid arguments. Yeah, Mike.
I make solid arguments. Please. I'd be very surprised if we get anything, even if we get something similar to Wesley Arnold, plus or minus 5%, and then Olympia Mike, plus or minus 5%, Mike's going to win. He'd have to be a little bit more off, even
Well,
against
not if
Wesley's best
I
version.
don't think if Wesley is plus 5% and Mike's minus 5%, I think that would be very close, and Wesley might just edge it because like Wesley, if he's
Oh,
filled out like the Arnold, but a year's progression, I don't know. I don't know. Could Mike burn out? Like these things can happen, you know. I need to drink water, man. Like an actual drink of water. But you keep talking. I'll be back in
Okay, okay.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
All right. That'd make a great transition to go to open. So going to open now. Let me pull this back up. Very good lineup. Like I was saying at the beginning, it's probably, I honestly prefer this lineup, and maybe Xavier will agree with me on this. I prefer the 2025 lineup to 2024. I think you still get kind of the star power of the top two with instead of Hottie and Samson, you get Hottie and Derek, two former Mr. Olympias. You're still going to have that star power at the very top, but I think it's more competitive all the way down. You kind of had like Horse and Justin who are off, doing their own thing. It's like, okay, were they, especially because Horse is so off, was he ever going to do anything here? Probably not. But then
But
you
we
have
didn't know that. We were still excited by Horse at that
yeah,
stage.
now I'm an avid horse hater, but now you have Andrew, who is definitely doing this one. He pulled out the last one. I would say he's 100% going to do this one. And then you have another former Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry, and a former Arnold Classic champion, and both Brandon and William. That used to be an old rivalry. They went head to head two times. 2019,
Mm.
Brandon won. 2022, Brandon won again, even though I highly disagreed. And then you have guys like Akeem, Shaun Clarida will be very close to top five. James Hollingshead's looking big. I know desktop bodybuilding. Xavier Wills is very infatuated with James Hollingshead. And then you have
295, 295 pounds is what he is at however many weeks out, and he has striations in his quad. That's pretty good.
mid.
And guess what?
What?
I am now doing videos with IFB AMA, and I've got a new show of Lee Priest. And our first guest, which is going to be on episode 2, is James Hollingshead.
Is this on YouTube? I need to actually know where I can find this.
So yeah, there will be at least clips of the episode, so like 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. I don't know, there might be full episodes as well put on YouTube of this one. I'm not too sure as yet, but there will be clips on IFB AMA. And yeah, there will be obviously something with James Hollingshead probably about a week from now going up on there.
Okay. Okay. So
Mm,
let's get into
check it
this
out.
list.
Sorry,
Dust
I
off.
derailed us.
No, no, you're fine. I'm very excited about this list. Let's start at the very bottom with Patrick Moore. I
Man,
I'm I'm a no I'm a hater sometimes.
I
Patrick
know you
Moore,
are.
Patrick Moore, respectfully, I'm predicting him last. If Carlos didn't bring up his back and also kind of misses the condition again, maybe, but it's like because Patrick can bring condition and he's pretty complete. The legs are coming back. Um, he has a better back than Carlos, but Patrick Moore.
Dude, I do Carlos. If Carlos comes in with no health issues and his ulcerative colitis is under control, his inflammation markers are down and everything, and he has a good prep,
Yeah, what are
I
you gonna say?
like he could do. I don't think he's going to win, but he could be in the first call out and looking
Wrong,
wild shape wise.
wrong,
I'm not going to predict that.
wrong, wrong. There's simply okay. What if the first call out, guaranteed Samson Derek? Maybe okay. Let's say that's the final call out. So let's say first they just done their individual routines.
Andrew Jacked is guaranteed. Do you reckon?
Maybe not for the final call out, but like for the
Oh
first
yeah, no,
call
no,
out, for the
first
first
for
call
like
out,
five,
okay.
five of the first.
Samson, Derek, um, Andrew, probably still Brandon, probably Bonac. You think he can
I don't
step to
know,
those
man. I
five?
don't
You
know.
think he can
I
step to those five?
I think he can. Yeah. Yep. I'd say a comparison. If Carlos comes in condition, which we haven't seen, like really conditioned, but we
We
need to
have it.
see from Carlos.
He has the thicker
That's
skin.
that's the thing I think will hold him back. From the back, I think that will hurt him. But dude, remember that guest posing where people freaked out, and even the Texas Pro, I'd say his condition was nowhere near where it needed to be. Like if he brings that condition, what Shaun Clarida has, he can win the show. Like
Famous last words. Famous last words. You remember that guest posting where he looked really good?
no, no, no. But look at the Texas Pro. Look at the shape and everything. Like
No.
even when you look at that, yeah, oh, he's too small. But if he was shredded, crazy.
Right. He is, he does have a lot of size. He is, I do want to say, a bit shorter. A bit shorter,
He
so it's
is.
like temper your expectations when he gets on stage. He'll still look very filled out, very like mass monster. He will be a mass monster, but it's like, you know, he's not going to be Samson levels of impressiveness. It's hard to do that when you're 300 pounds and six almost 6 foot. But he needs more condition. We're about to see the back. I think it needs to come up a lot.
His hamstring was so crazy from the side. It was like,
Right, right. I think that's maybe a little better than I remember it,
but
but
yeah, in the back double, it does pop. But yeah, it's just that bit of maybe detail in there. But yeah, his back is not bad, man. Actually, now I'm looking back on it. I'm remembering his back more from when he turned pro. He made big gains on it.
I'll
I
pull
think he
it
can
in.
shock, man. I think it's just a conditioning issue.
I'm not predicting him top five.
I need to see the update photos.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get too many. It's kind of a treat, an event when he does actually drop them. Okay, here's actually some good footage here.
Mm. This will show. Oh, look, he's massive. Look at how far his legs connect. When he's even got his legs so far apart. Look how thick those adductors are, plus the
Hmm.
quads. He's
You
got
think he
pretty good
chafes?
calves. He chafes so much, you can tell.
Yeah, yeah. I can almost feel the texture of his skin, you know.
Oh, that sounds so weird. I can always feel the texture of his skin. That's
Yeah,
look at
like
his
that.
hamstring, man.
Yeah, hey, look, it's the classic mass monster trope. If we're always waiting around, like usually they have that one body part, man, if he fixes this and if he gets in good condition. Okay,
Mm,
but it's like that's not who Carlos is at this point in time. You know what I mean? So until it happens, I hate the statements of, well, he just needs this and this. And it's the
mm.
the classic adage of, well, if my grandma had wheels, she would have been a bike. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you're changing the thing entirely.
If my
And
mum had balls, she'd be my dad.
right, exactly.
Mm.
I knew you were gonna say something because I know you're friends with Carlos. And I have no personal beef against the guy, but I'm saying
Oh, you do, don't you? You have
no.
beef with Carlos. How dare you?
No, I don't.
I
I'm
haven't messaged Carlos in ages. I actually,
oh
when
here,
you see someone and you see something on Instagram, whatever, and you feel bad because you haven't reached out to him in ages, I'm like, oh, I need to reach out to
here.
Carlos.
Yeah. See, this is why reaching out and texting in a quick and timely manner is good for the soul. And it's a
I
nice
know.
thing to do. Here's that guest posting you were talking about though. But okay, let's
His
keep in mind.
hamstring is nearly on the floor.
Okay, you're telling me that the guy that's not known for conditioning and is instead known for mass looks good at a guest posing? I'm shocked. I'm shocked personally. I've never heard of something like that.
He looked good at the show too, but he just needed to be harder.
Well, let's be fair. He was never going to win the Texas Pro. Respectfully, it wasn't his
With
time yet.
Andrew Jack, yeah,
And
not yet.
Hunter that year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he probably knows that. I don't think I'm saying anything disrespectful. It's just not his time yet. That was his pro debut as well. Um,
Mm,
but here's him at the Nationals where he turned pro. Justin Shire turned pro here as well. Um,
he did.
he did. He a bit harder here. The skin's a bit thinner, but
His back was nowhere near as good though, and he's nowhere near as big there. Like the weight difference is huge.
hmm.
The legs are like if you look at his legs, like his hamstrings in that show and everything, it is like completely. It's a different bodybuilder, man.
So you guys can listen to me, a sense of realism on this show. And then you can listen to Xavier, who's funding pipe dreams.
Funding pipe dreams. That sounds like some sort of like drug movie or something. Funding pipe dreams.
I think, I think, okay, a good show for him would be that sixth place spot.
No, I don't think that he will be happy with that.
How could you not be?
I don't think Carlos will be. I think Carlos, the way I think Carlos sees himself, and I think he should see himself this way as a top dog, like or a very soon to be top dog. Like I think the way he would talk is that I know my time's coming. I've just got to put the work in, get things under control, and just like keep going, keep pushing, and have a good run in it.
So
And I think he can do that.
he was actually one of the top amateurs of 20, well, I want to say pro debuts, of 2023. You had um technically Horse MD that year, who was in the calendar year of 2023, and you had Rubio Mosquera, guys that are like, it's not a fair comparison with Rubio. Is just like I'll take him out of the equation, but like someone like Horse is very similar to Carlos in the way that big legs, pretty good structure, not the best condition, but Horse is still in better condition. They both don't have rear doubles, and Horse is doing better.
No, yeah, I'd say Horse has less of a rear double than Carlos.
Horse's rear double doesn't even exist.
That's so harsh, man.
That's
That's,
not harsh.
I,
Have you seen
I
him
know what you
train?
mean.
Have you seen him
I've
train?
I've talked to. I haven't. No,
It's
not much.
atrocious.
The way he trains his back.
I'm sure you can tell this. I was telling my audience this when I was streaming Prague.
Was he moving with his arms? I mean, his arms only. I'm
Kind
just like,
of. A lot of it. You can tell if you do this long enough, you can tell how, a lot of the times, you can tell how someone trains based on how they look.
mm, mm.
Sometimes you will get someone like Phil Heath. The average guy would say, "Oh man, he must train heavy for that grainy look and all that." He did, and he didn't. That's genetic outlier. But a lot of the times, I can tell what you're struggling with based on how you look. Like
Oh,
I could tell this dude,
yes and no.
I can tell this dude is only ego lifting, not Carlos, a horse, because his traps are
I was gonna
massive.
say, I'm like, dude, no way.
Because his traps are massive, so overdeveloped. And then there's no lats, there's no anything else. It's like
Yeah.
it's every time you row, it's the shoulder back first, and that's what you're doing for sure. Because that's the traps are easy to feel because everyone shrugs their shoulders. You've been shrugging your entire life. I can just tell that horse can't train his back.
When I watched Andrew Jack doing T-bar rows, he even still does it a bit, but when he used to do it, like when he trained with Psycho, I think that Psycho changed it for him. But he looked like he was just pulling with his arms, like like it was
I know
just
what you're talking about.
pivoting. I'm like, that's
It made me
crazy.
nervous. It made me nervous
Yeah,
watching it.
I was watching it and I'm going, how much back is he hitting there? Like he obviously is like hitting other movements as well. I'm like, is there very little activation on that back, like apart from just holding and stabilizing the weight for the most part? It was very, I
Mhm.
was surprised. And then I'm like, no wonder his biceps are so crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
salt the
you know,
oil. That was a
there might be
joke. That
something.
was a joke.
But, well, honestly, a lot of pro bodybuilders, I think, use a dissipating synthol in their arms, like
If you
painless
can get
pumps or
away with
whatever.
it, I don't care.
Yeah,
Legitimately,
I
like
think,
if you can do
yeah,
it so
me
well that
either.
you get away with it, I don't care.
Mm.
It's part
Deep
of
in
it.
there, like a lot of guys do. Yeah, exactly. It's part of it. And if you mess it up and you get some atrophy in a body part from it, then we care. And
Right.
unfortunately, that's the risk you take.
All right. So Patrick Moore is up next. The future. Although I don't know if he still calls himself that. Um,
I mean, the dude's good. Like, he doesn't flow for me perfectly from the front, but when he's in crazy shape,
okay. He
and
did
I think he can add a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna contend.
he did the worst show of the year and didn't place top five, is that correct? He was sixth at the Europa Pro, right?
He didn't look bad though, but yeah, I
He
know it's
really
gonna be
didn't. I think
difficult for
maybe
Patrick.
sixth was a little low. But I wouldn't
Yeah,
have placed him like it's not like he should have won. Shouldn't have,
yeah.
yeah. Like
I get it though. I get the placing, but yeah, maybe one spot too low or two spots too low.
it's like he did have that nasty Achilles tear, one of the worst
Who
injuries you can have.
who's to his right there?
Bruno Santos.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, that dude looks good.
Yeah. I remember
No, he
clowning
looked
on
different.
Bruno, but then I saw him at Legion. I was like, you know what? This guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah. What's up? My name's Bruno.
Patrick,
I think of that every time.
I clown all day.
Yeah.
He's it is a case of he did really well 2019, and sometimes you do too well for yourself, you know?
Did Bruno Santos do really well in 2019? Is that what you're saying?
No, Patrick.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was going to say, I'm like,
And I think,
have I just
yeah,
been like slipping on Bruno Santos for like 5
no,
years?
Patrick,
Okay.
he did 10th at the Olympia in 2019. Looked great. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is pre before the quads got downsized and whatnot, but it's like he's never been able to even expand past that.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's gotten worse, notably so. It's not even just like a peaking thing. Like he's had setbacks for sure. And he was already small, and now he's been chasing it for over 5 years now. It's not coming.
I don't know. I would love to know how structured he is through the year. You know what I mean? Like off
Mhm.
season, pre-contest, all that sort of stuff. Like, is he structured or is he loose with it? Does he get small? I just don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't know. It's just, and I think as a fan, it annoys you not to know because we don't hear him on podcasts and stuff like that. So people just write him off. But if he went on some more podcasts and talked more and things like that, I'm outside of just posting like posts for the most part. That's from what I see anyway. I might just
Mhm.
not be seeing his posts. Um, I feel like we'd be more engaged with his career and maybe be more hopeful, but he'd be able to push up higher again and maybe get back into that top group
That top group. That
or
top
top 10
group.
group.
2019 Olympia. Like imagine if he had expanded on this.
Yeah.
It'd be
Still, that wouldn't be top 10 now. I think too small.
um who was 10th this year?
So look,
Who
he's
was 10th?
great.
Who was 10th this year?
Dude, I can't even remember. Don't ask me to remember
Akeem.
7 weeks ago.
I think if he got a little bigger, he can beat Akeem.
Yeah, but that particular package would not touch Kane.
Akeem's lack of rear double really screws him over in a scoring
I
system like
know.
mine. It's like
Yeah.
because I think what my scoring system really values the most and what I value the most is completeness.
Yeah.
That's why even though I disagreed with Samson winning, I completely respect the decision because he's the most well-rounded. I
Yeah.
think that is the hallmark of any great bodybuilder. I don't want just conditioning, I don't just want mass, I want it all. And across all body parts and mandatories. So I think maybe I'll do this one just for you. Maybe I'll do an Akeem versus Patrick comparison. I think you'd be surprised. I don't think Patrick would win, but I think it'd be pretty close.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Okay, another guy I'm very interested. We'll get into some better guys. I still think these guys can be competitive
Dude,
with each other.
it's 20 to 1. We can't go through everyone too deep.
Okay,
It's 20 to 1 a.m. here.
Justin Rodriguez. What's the last show he did?
I don't know, man. He's not going to win this show. He's not going to be a top dog, I don't
Damn,
think. Like, well, I
damn.
mean, like, think about it. Like, I don't think he'll be able to regain his top. What did he place eighth in the Olympia one year?
Yes.
He was very good there, very good. But I don't know if he'll be able to regain that. Can he come back in better again? Also, you said damn to me saying that. Man, you say way worse than
Because
that.
you're nice guy Xavier Wills from Desktop Bodybuilding.
Well, not at 20 to
I'm
1, not
like
at
an
20 to 1
asshole.
in the morning. See, the
Was
real
he
me comes out now.
okay? So Justin did do the New York Pro. He did Legion this year. So that
You
was
see what I
back.
mean? It's like he has a lot of muscle, but
The shape just gets worse every time, pretty much.
shoulders, shoulders
What do you
are
want to
a
say
bit
about him?
much. His shoulders are a bit much.
Yeah, they're
And
gross.
the midsection is not like obviously as tight as it was. It's like that's the reality. So like in a show like the
The
Arnold, it's
legs
going to be
kind of get
difficult.
worse as well. The legs are
Yeah.
getting worse, I think.
But he can sometimes just pop back randomly and he looks crazy again. But
Right,
I just
right.
think that he's not going to be he's just not going to be able to contend with the Samsons, the Andrew Jacks, the Derek Lunsfords, the even I'd say likely unless, but he can catch some guys if they're off. He can catch a few guys, but I don't think he can catch enough guys to get like a top six.
So I want to say about Justin, this is something Mark Max also brought to my attention. I say it every time because it's very important, not just about Justin, but when some guy, and it's like with Patrick Moore too, when some guy shows up so good, like 2022 Arnold and Boston for Justin, and then 2019 for Patrick, they weren't ever supposed to look that way, if you get what I'm saying. Like lightning was in a bottle for this show.
Yeah,
And it's like, are they still capable of this package? Yes, but it's like the stars aligned. The peak was perfect for this to happen. Everything probably had to go right for that to happen.
but Patrick Moore in the show where he qualified for the Olympia, he brought a different package. It was a fuller package, but you could go, oh, okay, that's like if he could do something between the Olympia and that package, maybe it could be even better. Go back and look at that Cali Pro where he beat Tim Budesheim.
Sucked.
He didn't suck. Who,
Yeah, it was all
Tim?
right. It was all right. I would agree with Justin. I think he's in this kind of last group. But I think now we're kind of breaking into the middle group. We could talk about your bro James Hollingshead.
Yeah.
Um,
Is he middle group or is he like first call out group? James has such hairy lats like me. I love
okay, bro. And this
it.
is recent, no?
This was he said I think he posted this one day, 1 or 2 days after he
Oh, fool
took
odds
the
asking.
shot. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah, it
It
is
is
recent.
recent. Yeah.
Dude, I've already covered this, man. 295 pounds. This is as of I think a day or two before that photo was taken.
You know, I really like James because I like those Dorian guys, guys that really don't have the best genetics, structure wise, but still put in the work and bring something
That
hard,
Arnold
thick,
20
grainy.
that Arnold UK 2022 package a bit further up. Underrated.
I agree. Maybe a little robbed. I really like Patrick Johnson though.
Did Patrick
Shorter.
Johnson get second?
He did. I really like Patrick.
Yeah, I would have had James second probably.
Okay, well, whatever. Oh, look at this guy. Underrated look.
Yeah, see, I even said it. See there in my comment. I told you. And then Milos is right underneath me.
You see my comment
Where's yours?
under yours?
Yeah, obviously I didn't reply.
I just did it just now.
Oh, did
Okay.
you?
No,
I didn't
I
even see
deleted.
that.
I deleted it because I agree with you. It actually was underrated. So last year at the Arnold, what did he do? Fifth? No, sixth? No, maybe fifth.
James?
Yes, at last year's Arnold. No footage.
I
No.
don't even remember.
I think it was
It
fifth.
was tough because I remember he looked pretty good as well. But I think we're going to see something else this time. I have a feeling.
He does
I have
seem
a
more,
strong
more.
feeling.
Oh, okay, yeah, I need to scroll back further, but he was kind of in that middling pack last year. Like Antoine and him. There was discussion like, oh, maybe these two can switch around. John De La Rosa, but I think James's keen advantage is the size. It's the size. That's a picture. Do we have a video? Probably not.
That's
Okay.
so random.
But yeah, he has the size. It's like, and he gets very dry at times, but he always talks about teetering the line of he can very quickly look over dieted because his metabolism is crazy. And,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want to come in full because his trademark is bringing in a grainy hard package.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is with this Arnold package, I think that it wasn't his best. I think he can bring in better than this. Like, I don't know if that was the best prep
What does that
exactly.
look like? What is
I
better?
think it looks more like the British Grand Prix that he won.
Okay.
That was
So
brilliant. It was like
pretty
so
big there,
crisp and
if my
conditioned.
memory serves, too,
Yeah,
right?
very, very hard. Very, very hard. He was just like he peaked perfectly. Patrick Tour was prepping him. Oh,
I've
just
actually been
so
meaning to
impressive.
go back and look at that show as when I go back and look at shows because it was a very stacked lineup. You had Raphael, you had Regan, very good show.
That was for Europa, so it was a different
Oh
show,
yeah, you're
but
talking about the
still
British
very.
Grand Prix.
But either one, I mean, like, I just don't think that was the best lighting, to be honest.
No,
It
British I
was,
remember because it was I think he was fuller at the the Europa, but after because they were pretty close together, he gets a bit harder.
see, he's got that shine on there, and it just pops a bit, and it's just harder. Like, it just looked
Hmm.
different to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it spoke to
I
you.
think bring it back. It did speak to me.
And he has
Yeah,
like a
see that?
really detailed back, but like it's narrow.
Yeah, he's like 5'11", 6 foot though as well, so he can look pretty big next to people, which
Right.
probably helps him in this lineup if he does get into the first call out because you've got obviously Andrew Jacked and Samson in there too. Like Derek could be, looking somewhat short in there, but it could work as well where Carlos Thomas gets in that top group too. And I think having Derek in there actually helps Carlos in a weird way because if Carlos brings the conditioning, then he could match up well with Derek. So
You Carlos can match up well with Derek.
no, comparative wise, I mean, he like in terms of muscle and everything like that, like quads. Who's got it on the quads? Who's got it on the
Derek.
hamstrings? Even like in terms of size, I mean, Derek will
Derek.
probably be better in the side leg and all that. Yeah, so I agree, Derek's going to win, and Derek can win this show. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Then we
It's a
have
better
good old
comparison.
JD, John De La Rosa. He was fourth last year.
I love John.
I do too. I'm a very big fan. And I think the judges are too. Like he's always enjoyed very favorable placings. Um, he's very on, very complete. Not the biggest guy, but he can beat someone like James again if James is not peaking perfectly. Um,
Where did John place last year at the Arnold?
fourth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did very well, didn't he? And the thing is, as well, he put out on so much size, like from the year prior.
He
So I
did.
think, with a bit more time and consistency, like, he's going to improve again.
He has a back. We can't say that about Akeem, who we'll get to next, but like I love
Yeah, I
John.
like John.
I love
Yeah.
John.
Oh, you love him. I said I like him. You're trying to one up me.
Okay, then we had
I'm
Akeem.
infatuated with John. Anyway, sorry.
Akeem, it's like this. He's had one of the better seasons of his career recently, and this is the show he just won, the Big Man Weekend. Um, so it's
Oh,
just a
yeah.
matter of if he nails it because he's big, he's thick. Yeah, he's never going to have a back, but like he can get by
Look
without
at
it
that.
because he's so good and everywhere else.
Mm. Side legged him. He's very crispy, like maybe
But it's not
could be
always
a
been
little
that
bit
way.
full. No, 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 definitely not. So, I mean, the thing is, like this physique compared to his early years physique, like yeah, he looks so much better from the back. Like because you get to see those crazy details and the density. Like I think at this show, his back did look a lot better. Like to me, just because of maybe how sharp he is.
Are you talking
That
about the
side,
rear double
is very.
specifically?
I'm talking about both of them look better there. But yeah, the specifically the rear double is what he has the biggest issue with. But when he's really crisp like that, you saw that video. It's like it seems to not make as big of an impact as maybe it would if he was just slightly off because you'd see this back that's not as beautifully shaped and you wouldn't see those crisp, really hard
Right,
lines. Like that,
right.
those crisp hard lines can do a lot. That side leg, how crisp and dry it is, it
I
does a
love a
lot
good
for his
crisp
physique.
hard line in the morning.
Wow. that's that's wild.
Yeah, that's how I did this podcast so early. But
Oh, see,
okay,
I might falling asleep.
stacked lineup. Do you think he's like can he break out of the middle tier with Brandon
I
Bonac?
think he can. Yeah, I
Okay.
think I will be predicting Akeem ahead of geez, I don't know. I was gonna say Brandon and Bonac, but that's pretty
It's
brazen
so weird
call.
because I think Bonac is more vulnerable, but Brandon placed lower at the Olympia.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm gonna boldly predict Akeem ahead of both of them. There you go.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Put that in. I'm gonna
Yeah,
predict James ahead of him too, and
that one
Carlos.
makes more
No, not Carlos.
sense.
Maybe Carlos. No, not
No, don't do
Carlos.
that one. That's a brain dead move.
Shaun Clarida.
So No
Do you
one
like how I
talked.
just ignored that?
So no one talked about him at Prague, because you just had Chris. He sucks all the oxygen out. He looked very good. He did get the redemption he was looking for after kind of being run into the ground at the Olympia. You know.
Yep. And he's back double bicep. Like the thing is, you can go, oh, yeah, but he's pretty small, but he's going to have more time to fill out as well to that Arnold.
Right.
So he's going to fill the legs out a bit more, I think. And then he's obviously working with Stefan, who does a phenomenal job.
Who isn't?
And I think, like, sorry,
Well, who isn't
who isn't what?
working with Stefan?
I know, yeah. The entire IFBB is prepped by Stefan,
Right.
um, apart from Samson. Um, but yeah, like his back double bicep, when you see a slightly angled shot, you see, like, look how dense and thick that back is.
Hmm.
Like, I remember just seeing that and seeing the angled shot and seeing his back next to. Did Horse do this show? Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. What
I
a
think it was next
disparity
to
that must have
Horse
been.
or next to one of those guys who are a little bit down. And yeah, I remember just seeing how thick his back looked next to the whole lineup. And I'm like, wow, he's killing everyone on density outside of Martin.
Does this beat Carlos Thomas Jr.?
I have no idea, man. That is
I
like
think it
so
does.
different.
I think it does.
I will probably predict. I mean, he's a 212 Olympian champ. Like,
Right. Very
it
good on
depends if
that
Carlos
one.
is hard.
Well, I think you can have something to do with that.
Ah, send him a
Okay.
picture later.
I want to talk about Brandon Curry. He's won the show twice. Where does he fit into it now though?
I have no idea because Brandon looked better than I thought he would at the Olympia, considering we hadn't seen much and what we did see wasn't super crazy. But the fact that the Olympia is pretty close, I believe he's got a new coach as well. I think he's working. Someone said Justin Harris to me, but I don't know if that's right or not. But he's a really good coach. But like, if he improves on this, and do you think he can improve on this? I don't know. I don't know what Brandon will bring
I
him because he looked, when he first came out, I thought he looked good here.
I thought he looked better than last year. Well, yeah. I think that's a given. He looked better than last year, but last year he was fourth. That's the thing. He was spent the night in the hospital and he still plays fourth, which I don't think he should have, but he did. And now I think he has lost the favor. He has lost the look. I think now the judges are like, Brandon, we've seen you so many times. We got to move you out. No hard feelings, but we're giving some other guys some looks this time around.
He looked very close. Like he looked like he just needed a little bit more in some. Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? I think just from a back, he lacked the detail, to be honest. Like when I say
Yeah.
detail, he was hard. He had this hard look, but it just wasn't detailed. There weren't certain things popping out that I wanted to see, I guess. Maybe there's little bit of water there and he filled out a bit too much. I don't know, but it was still a very good package and it was better than what I thought we were going to see from Brandon too. It was just such a stacked Olympia year. And in some years, this package may have gotten a bit more up there.
Did you see the comment I just liked?
Yeah,
I
you're a
get
savage. Get rid of don't like
I
that
guess, I
one.
guess okay, but I do kind of feel it's kind of like that. Like I said, it's like the judges have more guys to really good guys to give looks to. It's like you have Raphael's, you have Andrew Jacks, Samson Sterks, you have all these guys that like deserve a look before Brandon almost at this point in time because Brandon's not his
Yeah,
2019 self anymore. That's just what it is. It is what it is. So,
yeah. It
okay.
is what it is.
It is what it is. I think we can talk about your boy Andrew Jack. I think we just have a couple more. Um,
I love how I was an Andrew Jack hater and now he's my boy. It's like
you, you're like, he's gonna win the Olympia twice this year. That's how good he is.
no. I did predict him to win the Olympia though. I don't think that was that crazy.
No, that was, and I was telling you it was, wasn't I?
You also said Samson would be like fourth or fifth as well, didn't you?
No, no, that was EP09. I said I had
Uh,
him. I had
you had him
Samson
up.
third.
Who'd you have fourth? You're lying. Everyone had him fourth and fifth.
Samson? No. And I was the only one that said Samson doing the France Pro was a good move.
I said that.
No.
Just I did. I
Okay,
said it
well,
was.
I said it.
I did
I
an
said it.
individual video. Well, I asked a question. I asked a question to people.
No, I said
I
it. I
said
came
no.
right out and said it.
I'll send you the video after this podcast, sir.
What is that? What is that? Oh, I don't want that. No, I said it, and I remember Giles, which I love dearly. Giles and I are
He hated it.
good. He hated
He
it.
commented on my video saying worst decision ever.
And I was like, no, he's always been better when he competes more often. Up
Mm.
until a point, usually if the shows are kind of close together, back to back, Samson's always been better. And and I was the only one. I didn't come out and say this because I didn't make any videos about it, but I was like, I was kind of low key impressed with the where he took a shirt off at the press conference. I was actually like, this.
Everyone thought he looked horrible, eh?
I just don't think they know what they're looking at.
Yeah, and the fact that he had no oil on or anything, that
Right.
matters as well,
It
like
does.
it's just yeah, that
I
was
think the
people were
important thing
losing their
is
mind.
I placed Samson above Andrew, which not a whole lot of people were doing, and I was adamant that that's how it was going to fall.
Well, I got
So,
that part wrong, but
okay, let me ask you a question. Samson, as is the 2024 Mr. Olympia, let's say he just brings that again, an Olympia winning package, and let's leave Derek out of the equation for now. But Andrew manages to bring his Texas Pro package. Let's say he can get himself back up to that point. Okay, who wins?
Samson.
Right. Let's say Andrew's 5% sharper. Let's say he has a few faint lines in the glutes. Let's say he has some more dugout hamstrings. Still Samson?
Yeah. I think Andrew would still need to make a little bit of improvement,
He needs to
maybe.
make legitimate
Maybe.
gains.
Yeah, I think so, just a little bit, yeah. So I think Samson has a lot going on at the moment. Maybe Samson can miss it. You know what I mean? It's like you never know. And the fact that Samson now is Mr. Olympia, it might, you know, even Jay Cutler said it when he was in his career, and I'm sure he wouldn't have said it at the time that uh, and I don't think Samson is believing his own hype or anything like that. But at the same time, once you're a Mr. Olympia and you are the top dog as well, are you going to be as motivated as someone coming up the hill for an Arnold Classic? You know what I mean? Like someone who's chasing you, are you going to be as motivated? I don't think it's going to be an issue, to be honest, because I know Samson, I talk to Samson, but it's still, life still hits you, and at the end of someone's career, they're going to have packages that aren't as good. Just because you become Mr. Olympia doesn't mean you're going to nail it every time. And I think now they're more inclined to give it to someone else if someone misses it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah. I
don't
don't
know.
think the adage of knocking out the champ really exists anymore.
No.
Because I think they have realized that for business, it is easier, it is better to just play it straight instead of trying to, give the champ a little bit of a nod. It is better for business, and it's arguably more fair than it
Yeah.
has been in the past. So I think it's kind of a win-win all around. But okay, let's introduce Derek into the equation.
Derek
So
enters the chat.
Derek has entered the chat. Texas Pro Andrew, does he beat Derek?
What version of Derek are we talking?
2024 Olympia. Like he was so improved. Like one of the most improved guys from show to show.
Mm. I would say that would be very close.
I don't.
Very
Well,
close.
I'm a Derek hater. I
So
I
what are you saying, Andrew? Easy win, are you?
I'm gonna say Derek an easy win.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Derek would win. Yeah, I think the Olympia version of Derek was perhaps slightly disrespected. Now, I think that his legs were smaller a little bit, and I think his waist was a little thicker. But and
But he
people were
brought
like,
more
oh, he can,
detail in those areas. Like the legs are more
yeah,
cut up and the abs are deeper.
and he had more muscle. So
Right.
I think it was underrated. There was more muscle overall. But at the same time, I do think the version of the year prior was better, the Olympia winning version. But
Hard
just
disagree.
because,
Hard disagree.
No,
That
no,
version
no, no.
sucked.
What? No, because I would say there was more of a wow factor with the shape and the proportion the year he won the Olympia because his waist was so much tighter, dude, and then his quads were just that little bit thicker. Even though he was bigger and harder in some areas in 2024, I just think that it wasn't quite as good. While I thought it was good, not quite as good.
Well, I think you're blind. Um, that's
I think
simply
that's the consensus opinion.
that's
No.
well, Derek gets a lot of hate, and honestly, it's not even undue. I'll tell you that. But
Well, can I just say one thing as well?
yeah,
I think the lighting at this year's Olympia was a million times better.
for sure, for sure.
So yeah, I think that judge clouds
Derek
people's
was a
judgment.
lot better this year. I was very impressed with the amount of improvements. I still don't like his physique. I think he placed where he should have. Maybe Martin could have beat him. I actually think so, but like fourth and fifth, I'm fine. Fourth and third, I'm fine with. Um, but that amount of improvement, it was staggering. Staggering.
Do you think it was very obvious? Like, do you think that he could have beaten Hardy?
No, Hottie should have
I do.
won.
No, let me tell you why. No, he shouldn't have. No, I'm talking this year. Um, because when you see the slightly side angled videos of this show, you understand what the people that were there watching it say because Hardy was like so much more 2D. He was so much smaller, but you see that straight on angle from the front, and he looks incredible. Find that side angle stuff.
Oh, it'll be an amateur video. I doubt it.
Oh
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. Derek is extremely round. Hottie always had to work for that kind of roundness. Like the only time we've really ever seen a very round package from Hottie was 2019 Mr. Olympia.
yeah.
Everything else has been much, not even worse, but just flatter. Like, and I know that sounds harsh, but it's just true.
Are you
It's
saying,
a flatter
well, apart
package.
from Hardy's Olympia winning year, that was a thicker version?
It still didn't have that pop that 2019 did, you know?
2019 was really good, wasn't it?
It was like
Underrated.
it was so different. Like it doesn't
It's
even look
Hardy.
like Hottie. Okay.
You went past Hardy, by the way.
I'm looking for
Oh,
the
you're looking,
video.
yeah. Yeah,
Hopefully it's
fair.
here.
Wait. That one, he looked flat from a side.
What
Telling
are
you.
you even talking about?
I'm trying to find it. I'm just trying to justify it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but
I'm getting close. I can feel it.
can you? Are you getting aroused?
Actually, I don't think I'm getting close anymore. I think I lost it.
Yeah. You think you lost it?
I-
I was hardening. It's got
oh, here we
away.
go. Here we go. Okay. And this is also a very good comparison of Derek and Samson. I think it's also what I wanted to
Whoever
point out.
is on, like, does this go through the other ones? Because whoever goes on the right hand side, and I'm not saying this because of Samson, whoever's on the right hand side is the most disadvantaged. Whoever's in the middle here is the most advantage, and whoever's on the left is like second most.
Yeah, it'll go through all of them. I think. Because I think it's everyone in the middle. Everyone gets their turn in the middle in this video. I think it captures all of it. Um,
See, look from the side when they're going into it. Like, I think that's like, look at Derek versus Hardy. Like,
this commenter down here agrees with you. I never realized Hottie's chest wasn't that big. And
mm.
it's kind of like it just doesn't have that thickness. You can see it from the front lat spread how
See,
everyone's
look when
kind
he's
of bubbles
moving.
up.
Like, Derek dominates Hardy there, dominates him.
Okay, well,
I'm just looking at Derek and Hardy. Like, Samson's obviously, looking great, but I'm just focusing on those two for second
mid.
place. Like, oh yeah, Mr. Olympia's mid.
I've actually been on record. I've said this multiple times. He's the strongest Mr. Olympia winner since Phil Heath.
Oh, I like that. I just like it because I'm Samson's friend. So I'm like, that's very much
I
like
just not am a
a
fan. I'm
biased
just not
view.
a fan of Big Ramy, especially his Olympia winning versions.
Yeah.
I
See,
think he beats
Hardy
Shaun
looks
Rhoden.
smaller in that side try when he's moving. I mean, he looks crisp. Don't
Okay,
get me
well,
wrong. He's
Derek's
phenomenal.
waist is doughy.
Yeah.
Like if he's not
But
flexing them 100%, it looks pretty bad.
I
Still,
did not like the way Derek, yeah, that's where it killed him.
yeah, that's
I'd say
like big old
he
guy.
should have never done that. He should have just stayed with the vacuum.
Well, I think people were telling him, "Hey, we'd like you to also do something, with the abs."
Who's people?
God.
Well played. I can't even hate them, man. That's pretty good.
No, I think there was I think maybe I'm making this up. I remember this posing video. It dropped literally the night of the Olympia, and it was Derek posing at the NPC headquarters, right? And I'm pretty sure they were like they made him hold the abs and thighs pose, like actual crunch down. They're like, hold it, hold,
Uh,
and I was like, why are they doing that? And I was
mm.
like, okay, I think they kind of want him to hit it. It's the main critique of him. He can't even hit the abs and thighs, and now he does. And it's like it's a lot better than last year, but it's still not that good. Okay,
I disagree, but okay. Look at
what?
Samson in the middle there. He's a man mountain. See, it's so much different. And then Derek looks nowhere near as probably good as he did. Oh, he looks pretty good in back double, but Hardy's definitely losing that back double by
Yeah.
a mile.
So, but Derek's weaker shots are like pretty weak compared to Samson's weakest shots. Like what Samson's like abs and thighs. Okay, are we gonna argue that Derek's is like miles better? Is it even better at all? Um,
Samson really has no weak shots anymore. It's like there's nothing that's like you're like, oh, that's a weak shot on Samson. There's nothing.
right,
Like,
right. I don't necessarily think he has ones that are like insane besides like the side
yeah,
chest. Um, but I think that's kind of what they're going for. It's the well-rounded appeal. It's like they'd rather have not mid poses all around, but even quality poses around the board than someone with massive highs and lows. Which
yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
philosophy I agree with. So anyway, we left Bonac out, but we kind of talked about him with Curry. Knee jerk reaction. Rank all of these guys. Go now.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, but I'll do it. I'll do it for fun. Okay. I'm gonna do a really quick prediction and then yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Right.
Samson Dauda in first. I'm gonna say, who is I'm gonna say Derek Lunsford in second. I'm saying he's gonna split the big man. That sounds weird. Then I'm gonna say Andrew Jacked in third. This is where
Okay.
it gets tricky.
Not
Uh
tricky.
do I throw a wild card here? I'm throwing wild cards.
If you say Carlos, we're ending this
The
prematurely.
Shed, James Hollingshead in fourth, a la like what John De La Rosa did last year. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so the Shed
That's
in
not the
fourth.
worst.
In fifth, I'll say Akeem.
Ahead of Brandon and Bonac?
They're coming. And then I'll say Brandon. Then I'll say Bonac. Oh shit. Uh, Clarida. John. Shit. Oh, yeah, John. Carlos. Oh my god.
Do it. Do it.
Patrick. Justin. There you go. I just did the whole lineup for you.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Damn.
I'm going to mute myself and eat while we for 1 second.
Okay, okay. So I agree with the top three. That's any order. And this is me doing, I'm very analytical. I like to do these comparisons beforehand just to kind of refresh my memory. But right off the bat, Andrew, Derek, and Samson are going to occupy the top three. Um, the guy with the best
Is that
chance
in?
to,
That's not in order though. I just ordered them 1 to 12 or whatever it was.
I'm giving, I'm about to give you my order.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
Um,
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I just did that.
to do the
It's
whole
actually quite
lineup,
cool. It's quite cool to look at it like this though. Like the way the Arnold Classic does it, I do like that.
goated posters for sure.
Posters.
They're posters.
Yeah, no, posters. Yeah, I'm like posters. Liking it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what Australians do. Like we'll just say what you said, which means yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. That's what mentally retarded people do.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll be like,
Okay.
oh, Samson Dowder's really good. I'll be like Samson Dowder.
Yeah, it's like you could have just said nothing. I would have been fine with it. Okay. You know what we need to do? You'll have to come back maybe towards the end when we're a week out. Um, the pairwise comparisons. I don't know if I told you about these, but I basically put the whole lineup into
I want to
basically.
do this with you. We've talked about this. Yes.
Yeah, and I've done this before with the new, and it's actually like very accurate. So you put all these names in in a thing, and it gives you each combination of the names. Can Patrick Moore beat Samson? No. Can Samson beat Andrew? Maybe you think yes or no. And depending on how many yes votes you give on somebody, it'll rank these guys. And I did it for AJ Kelly Robert, and I did it for the New York Pro, and he's like, "This nerd gadget, it really works." And like our predictions were like were pretty good.
Yeah.
And we did it for the Olympia. Well, I did it for the Olympia as well. But I did change that around because it was the Olympia, but I was actually pretty okay with it.
Yeah.
So they're very good. It's
Nice.
like it's hard to conceptualize the whole lineup at the same time, but when you go one on one, you're like, okay. But we know the lineup changes things, so it's like there is no perfect system, especially for bodybuilding. But having examining it in lineup and as a lineup, and then also having the pairwise comparisons to do 1v1, you kind of mix those together. This is why I'm so goated with predictions. Okay,
Yeah, sure, sure.
and I'll give you.
Also, I might change my predictions and put Carlos in fourth
Oh,
eventually.
I'm for
I'm
sure
sure I will.
changing mine. I do a whole Arnold series, but okay, Patrick. I'm starting from the bottom.
Oh, like, well, on bet.
Patrick, Justin,
Oh, different.
Carlos, Bonac.
Oh, you you
Ooh,
said to me.
do I change this? Okay, I'll leave it here for now. It's just so weird. I just think Bonac's very vulnerable. Like he just keeps competing, but I have Bonac and John, even though that's not how it was at the Olympia. But then Bonac, John, Akeem, Clarida,
Ooh.
James in fifth, Brandon, Andrew, Derek Samson.
Okay, we're not that different, really.
I think okay, the middle of the pack for yours was all kind of messed up.
Me? No.
I'm gonna put James in fourth.
No, look, I have literally like the first call out is for me would be to say it's five guys. It'd be James, who's down near the front, Keem, who's at the front, Samson, Derek, Andrew. I think James will be on the outside of that first call out, and I think Akeem will be on the outside of that first call out. But we've been doing six lately. So if I've got to add in a sixth, I'll say,
I'd say Akeem.
see,
Akeem makes
I've
the
already
most
got
sense
Akeem in
in
there.
that particular lineup. Yeah, maybe I move Clarida out of the top six entirely and put
Maybe
Akeem and John up.
that's the thing. Clarida, I could very easily see like a first call out of like Hollingshead, Akeem, Samson, Derek, Andrew Jacked, and
He
then like
cannot survive
Clarida.
in that first call out. He
I know he
cannot
won't
survive.
survive. I know he won't. But if they're going to place him top six, they might just put him on the outside. But that is a rough call out for Clarida.
This is why Akeem bugs me so much because I know the judges really like him, but the lack of I can't when I think of Akeem, I look at the rear double in my mind and it's like, how could this possibly be top five? But then you look at the other things, but
We looked at that video, man. It's like the whole transition into that back double when he's crisp and like filled and looks
yeah,
like spot on. It's not as glaring, I don't think, in person. In a still shot, you can
okay.
go, oh, yeah, he's getting wiped. Or from a side angle, or you see something where they don't look as crisp. Yeah, you can see he looks like he's getting wiped. And he does lose that
I
shot.
think it
But
feels right. I'll put Akeem, I'll swap Akeem and Clarita for my first predictions list. I think that looks interesting. Maybe I'd switch Bonac. It just Bonac plays seventh this year. I don't really get how, but at the same time I do. That's going to be very interesting. I have Brandon so much higher than Bonac as well, even though I did the Olympia too, and I was wrong. But
I
okay,
know Mark nailed us on that one.
yeah,
You're a she. You're a
I'm,
she.
I was like, and I was getting so pissed too. I was like, "You're retarded. Why don't you know this? Why don't you?" Brandon
Yeah.
has never ever lost to Bonac, and in so many years. And then he just said, "Well, she." And, okay, okay,
Where was she?
okay.
I love that. That was funny.
Well,
Oh, where
Xavier,
we are.
I know.
I was kicking back too much. I was like,
Well, thanks for coming on. Honestly, I'm more excited about this Arnold than I was the last. I really like Hottie, but I think it's going to be more competitive through more placings,
yeah, I agree. I
marginally.
think it's going to be a fantastic Arnold.
I am missing some names. I thought Hunter would have done this.
Yeah, Hunter. Yeah, yeah. That's another one. Martin. Martin might be
He's going to do other shows, and
like
yes,
that from
yes.
last year, you know what
I,
I'm
I
saying?
was going to mention that he didn't even get the nod for last year to compete. He did the what is it? Did the application.
I mess I messaged Brian Powers and I tried to protest and I said, what's the qualification criteria and stuff like that. And he gave good answers, don't get me wrong. But it was a miss.
I before he even competed, I was like, that's a mistake. That's a big mistake. And then sure enough, I've been glazing Martin all year. You know, he's my father, and yeah, like, could he have won this show? There's certainly he would have been pushing. You know, he pushed Derek. Maybe he would have been
Yeah.
going with Samson. You know,
For people to say Martin isn't now a contender to potentially win is crazy because if he's close and people think he could beat Derek, and that was not a bad version of Derek. I don't think it was bad. Like, yes, Samson's ahead. Just say Samson misses it and Andrew is the same. He just beat Andrew. So it's like he beat Andrew, he nearly beat Derek. Well, what's if he did beat Derek, if he gets that a little bit better and beats Derek, who's to say he can't beat Samson if Samson
I
misses? You know what I mean?
100% agree. I think Martin is
So
actually the
Martin could
next
have
in
won
line.
this.
I
Yeah,
agree.
he could have won this show potentially, but at the same time, doing Pittsburgh might be a little better for his body, in terms of spacing for
He's going to do other
shows.
things too, for sure. It won't
Yeah,
just be Pittsburgh. I think it'll be a whole host of other shows. So I'm going to say, well, Hunter's going to compete one other time. You know, we get into that, but I think Martin, he's proven to himself that he loves to compete. I love seeing guys compete as often as possible, so I don't really mind that. But
Samson might do a few shows though and crush a few dreams along the way too.
he's doing that Europa show, the Euro Muscle show.
Mm.
It
Is
said
that is
athlete
that is that
confirmed.
is that out? No, 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 no. No, that's a guest posing confirmed.
That does not.
No, I saw it too. I thought he was confirmed competing too, and I was like, I've read
That's
the actual
crazy. That's
poster
misleading.
properly.
I'm suing the Euro Muscle show.
Yeah,
It
it, it,
said
it's it's
athlete confirmed.
it said athlete confirmed guest posing. I was like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Look it up, please.
Okay. It says
I'm right
confirmed
on it.
athlete for 2025. Let me read the caption. And it doesn't say, like, it doesn't say
Can you
confirmed
can
appearance.
you show
It's,
me
I'm going to show you something. Can
nudes?
you show me? What kind of request is that? Excuse me?
Show me, please.
It doesn't say guest posting, though, unless I missed it in the caption.
Uh,
Oh, to clarify, it's in the comments. Spelled wrong. To Claire Roofy, Samson will be at the event as a guest, not a competitor. Okay, so if he's not competing, then it's not athlete confirmed, it's appearance confirmed.
Confirmed athlete. He is an athlete. I mean,
Not at this
it is
show.
very no. It's incredibly misleading, isn't it?
It is incredibly misleading. I shared it and I was like, man, this sounds like a good little show because this has been really hyped up. But yeah, I fell for the hype. That's unfortunate. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I do think Samson will compete multiple times this year, regardless. Um, but yeah, that's it. Very excited for this one. Very excited for this. I
Yeah.
thought about going. I don't think I will. Um,
Yeah, me too. I was thinking about it. No, I wasn't really.
oh, I could technically drive there. It's like a few hours. I wouldn't want to do that, but
Oh, dude, if I was a few hours drive away from the Arnold, I'd be there. Why do you not want to go?
it makes more sense to live stream it.
I know what you're saying, but I don't think so because there is a live stream already that's free for it, and the Arnold doesn't get as many views on that.
Mm, I wouldn't get any views on any videos I did going in person at the Arnold. And the thing is, I can't miss after getting
Mm.
fucked by the Olympia. I can't miss another show like that.
Do you know what I reckon? Yeah, I just know what you mean. I reckon there'd be a way you could do it where you could attend, And I thought about this, like if I was in person at the Olympia or in person at the Arnold, like there's ways you can do it, man. Like it's just it has to be done very efficiently and smart. And I'd need to take someone with me too. Like I need like one or
Right.
two people extra.
Right.
Like, but if you had one extra person, just say, and you could go there, do interviews, just say you went to the athletes meeting, whatever, got all the interviews, had a way of putting all that out and had like a content strategy for that.
Hmm.
I reckon you could do that and then still, even if you didn't want to go to the show, like if you didn't actually go to
I
the
can
actual
clear
show.
tens of thousands of views on the live stream. I don't have to go anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. You can go to your hotel room, go down, get all the interviews, still have the experience, go to the expo, get do a bunch of expo content. Like if you
That's
can,
that's dumb. Why would I? Why would I? If I'm going to the event, I just go to the event. I paid for it.
you might
I
get
know
a
you can.
sponsor out of it. You know what I mean? Network.
Yeah. How about desktop bodybuilding sponsor me? How about that?
No, no. It doesn't make sense. I'd just be
Well,
giving you money.
well, anyway, I'm very excited. Maybe I will go. Maybe I'll ultimately change my mind, but I don't know. Oh, I think packages are sold out. I don't think I can change my mind. I think I looked.
Oh, lame.
Yeah. Oh well, you live and you learn. I'm not regretting it one bit. Um, so anyway, thanks for coming on. Thanks for discussing the Arnold with me.
I
It's been a
liked
real
it.
treat.
Got this old school. Oh yeah, it's been good. Old school bodybuilding. They sent me this, so I just wanted to give them a shout out because I think I've done one shout out. They sent me a bunch of t-shirts, so
Right. And do you have a YouTube channel you can shout out?
I do. Yeah, yeah. I'll give that a shout out too. So desktop bodybuilding.
Oh, never heard of that one.
Um, no, it's a small one. Um,
Yeah.
this is my neon sign, as you can see. Oh, it's
Looks
hot.
real.
Yeah, it's hot too.
Wow.
Oh shit. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's all in the name. You can find it on YouTube, and I talk about bodybuilding. I haven't done as well, much videos at all lately, but I will be smashing content, and I will have a video on the Arnold Classic
Kid name
2024. But it will
content.
be, huh?
Kid name content.
What does that mean?
You s- you said I'll be smashing content. And I said kid name content.
I'm still confused, but
You never seen what it's like kind of like a Mike O'Hearn meme. It's like okay class, today we're going to finger paint. But it's like kid name paint. Like the sentence takes on a whole new meaning if the kid's name was paint. Like, okay class, today we're going to finger paint.
oh, I know exactly. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're like I'm smashing content.
I
Okay.
yeah, I for some it's
Wow.
1:22 a.m. It's 1:22 a.m. But yes, that was actually quite funny. I feel embarrassed now that
Yeah, you
flew
should. You should.
like it didn't fly over my head. It just
It
went
was
so
soaring.
far
It
over.
was
Yeah.
soaring, yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Well, Desktop Bodybuilding, Xavier Wills from Desktop Bodybuilding. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for discussing the Arnold, and I
Pleasure.
will see you all in the next video.